Conscious Roots TV. Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Yes, welcome back. We are continuing with our series on pandemic privilege.
Ooh, y'all, you know we like to keep it spicy. Ooh, sizzle, sizzle. So last episode, we unpacked white privilege and how it has reared its ugly head during the pandemic. And today, we are all going to be up in the WFH. No, we're not cursing. That means work from home privilege.
Yes. So before we get started, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single moment of our episodes. And you can unpack alongside us, okay?
Ooh, yeah. So, all right, let's jump right in. Our first point of this work from home pandemic privilege is just acknowledging who in the first place even has the option to work from home and who doesn't.
Yeah, you're so right. At the time of the pandemic's rise in America specifically, only 1 in 4 Americans had jobs that were doable from home, jobs that could be done virtually or over the phone.
I mean, first off, who even uses a phone anymore? Oh, hey, it's old white people. Anyway, some of those people were still fortunate enough to work for places that could adapt somewhat, and the jobs could be made a little bit more doable from home. But a whole lot of people out there, 3 out of every 4, are working in scenarios that you can't do virtually, like delivery drivers. You can't exactly deliver a package through the internet. I mean, we can try. We're not at that technology point yet, right? And also have customer service jobs like working as a cashier in a grocery store, or perhaps people who work at a factory or an assembly line who have to be there in person.
Yep. So the fact that some of us can work from home is a privilege that many of us are forgetting about when we, I don't know, complain about endless Zoom calls and whatnot.
To be so lucky to have an endless Zoom call.
Exactly.
And to build on that, the people most likely to have jobs where they can work from home, they can do what they need to do virtually, and I don't know, maybe even earn a salary. What? What?
Huh.
Obviously, going to be more likely to be economically privileged, right? So the jobs that you can work from home are going to probably be corporate or maybe even white collar or white collar nonprofit. Don't come at me, because I did work for a nonprofit for 11 years. And I think that white collar and nonprofit can actually go together from my own personal understanding. And the people who are working the jobs that have to be in person are oftentimes going to be people who are living in more of a low income or a working class area. And so you can't really adapt one of those in-person jobs to a virtual space.
Exactly. And as we're talking about all this privilege, we've got to point out that the overlap doesn't just stop with class here. It's also racial.
Intersectionality.
Oh, I love it. Yes, write that down, y'all. Okay, we mentioned this in the previous episode on pandemic privilege, and it must be named here as well, okay? The people most likely to have access to work from home positions are more likely to be white or Asian, while those who have less access to work from home jobs are far more likely to be Black or Latinx.
And y'all, we know you know this, but we're going to make it abundantly clear that this is no coincidence.
Not at all.
All of these systems of oppression work together like this insidious web that some kind of very venomous and poisonous spider has woven, and not just oppressing one particular aspect of someone's identity, but instead oppressing all of these multitudes of identities. So it's connected to race, gender, sexual orientation. All of these things are interwoven into this insidious web. And for some people, that means they're going to be experiencing layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of oppression.
Oh, God, thank you for saying that. The insidious web, that's something we all need to take notes on, because that's exactly. Speaking of class, let's also reiterate something we also mentioned in the last episode about class and how it goes hand in hand with racial oppression. So white families are 6 times more likely to be financially secure and have access to wealth than Black families in America.
So let's overlay that with what we just talked about. When you think about the population who is most likely to have one of those WFH or work from
Mm-hmm.
home jobs, as the kids say, it reveals the folks who are most likely to get to stay home,
Mm-hmm.
have that privilege of being able to stay safe from the effects of the coronavirus,
Yep.
stay safe from the risks of infection, are also, you better bet your bottom dollar, likely going to be white, likely going to be financially secure, and
Mm-hmm.
likely to have access to healthcare, and also likely to keep the ridiculous healthcare system that we have in play instead of voting for healthcare for all. Gonna add a
Boop.
little political sizzle onto that one.
We promised you spicy, did we not? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you think of the statistics of who has been most affected by coronavirus or COVID 19, it is no wonder that even in the areas and the states where people of color make up a minority population, people of color are still the majority of people who are getting infected or dying because of coronavirus. And those people tend to be Black or Latinx.
Wow. And I hope that we've made it really clear that it's not as a result of their lifestyle,
Not
that
at
this
all.
is a systemic oppression that has been happening for generations upon generations upon generations of people. So I hope
Mhm.
that that's super, super clear. It's not the way they're living that is
Yeah.
to be blamed for any of this. It's something that all of us need to take responsibility for, especially people who look like me need to take ownership for what is happening out there in our communities of color. So that brings us to the close of another, if I must say so myself, riveting, seriously, episode of Conscious Roots TV. So you got to hit that button. You do not want to miss a single episode of what we have to offer of this absolute majesticness.
Ooh, majestic. I love that word. All right. New
Mm.
episodes drop every Thursday, y'all. So you can also follow us at Conscious Roots LLC on both Facebook and Instagram. Follow both because we give different content to both and we're on there often. And you can find out what we're doing, what we're up to, and you can get much more content just like this.
Yes, indeed. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being you. And now go burn it all down.
Bye.
Bye.